These are the things you're going to need to cut your litter pan. You'll need a fine point Sharpie so that you can measure your template of choice depending on the size of your box and how you want the opening to be cut. You'll need a heavy-duty reinforced cutting wheel for your Dremel. After you cut it, you'll need to sand it, so you'll need a sanding drum, and you'll also need a razor blade because a Dremel cuts and burns at the same time, so you're going to have some melted plastic bits you need to cut off. This is your Dremel tool, and of course, as always, we're going to use some safety goggles. We're wearing our safety wear, and the first thing we're going to do is trace our template with our fine point Sharpie so that we can get a nice, even, symmetrical cut. There's the U shape that we're going to put in this box. I like to have the box positioned so that I can step on the base to keep it stable, and I turn my Dremel all the way up. Alright, that's your first cut. Now what I do is I shave off these little plastic bits here as best you can on both sides. Sometimes you just use your fingernails. Next, we're going to switch out our bit and put on our sanding drum. And that'll help us even it out if we were a little crooked with our cut as well. We're just going to smooth these edges. And then we do one last shave with the razor blade. The cats actually like the rough edges to jowl rub it with their face, so it's okay that it's a little rough. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. It's not going to harm them. And that is a finished cut litter box product. So now we're going to cut, in my opinion, what I think is the best and biggest box you can get. These boxes are from the Container Store. Remember, litter boxes should be 1.5 times the length of your cat's body, and this one is ideal. So to start, I'm going to do my template line. which I generally eyeball, but you're welcome to measure. I use these supports here within the box as a measurement starting tool. And I draw my template. And I do usually do a little notch up here as well, just to help keep me in line. And now I'm going to flip it over, because I usually cut it with the opening facing me. We're going to take our Dremel reinforced cutting wheel, and we're going to put our safety goggles on, because these bits really do fly, so it is important to wear safety wear. If you notice, I spin it around and cut the inside tip from the inside of the box, because it's just hard to reach, because you can only work with the depth of the tool itself, and it doesn't quite go as far as you need it to. So I always do that last part on the inside. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it with my razor blade. I find this part strangely gratifying. I don't know really why I like this part so much, but I do. And then, as you can see, it is a little jagged here, and so we're going to go ahead and smooth up our cut with our sanding drum. So we got our sanding drum on, and now we're going to go ahead and smooth out these edges and just make sure it's not super rough. Actually, usually set it down for this so I have leverage. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get the little bits of plastic off one last time with the razor blade or my fingers. Keep in mind with these boxes, you can cut them wherever it works for the space that you're going to put them. If you want to cut them on the short end, you can do that too. Also for seniors, I recommend cutting it down a bit lower. And then for handicapped cats that might have some injuries to their legs, I cut them even lower so they barely have to walk into it, but they still have nice big surface area to go. And there we go. that's pretty much cutting the giant perfect litter box. As many of you probably know, hooded boxes are not my favorite thing. They're not a cat's favorite thing either, but sometimes there's no choice but to make them the absolute best hooded box they can be. And that means a box is totally clear so that the cats can see who's coming and anticipate what might be lurking on the outside when they exit the box. So today we're going to show you how to cut one that's cube-shaped, clear, with a lovely little circle cut opening. I actually used a large water bowl, stainless steel water dish, to create this template. And what I'm going to do is trace my circle. You can also cut the U shape that you've seen. Obviously I showed you that in the other video, but if you like the circle cut and it's going to be hooded, this is how you do a circle. Switch out our bit for sanding. Sometimes it's a little hot and it's a little hard to get it to cooperate. I'm going to shave our plastic bits. Didn't make too many that time. Sometimes it depends on the plastic, the type of box that you're cutting. All plastics are not created equal. Quite honestly, that one didn't require much sanding at all. It was mostly my exit and entry points where I started and stopped here that needed the most smoothing out. Again, these don't have to be perfectly smooth. It's not going to be harmful to your cat. They actually love to come up and jowl rub the rough edges with their face. And I think that'll do it for our How to Cut Your Litter Box Yourself drumming series.